Hey, my name is Shelly, and this is my channel, Shell Space. So, today's video is September's MBR. I cannot believe it's already September. Well, when I'm filming this is still August, but I can't believe it's going to be September, and summer's over. I'm kind of excited that summer's over because my kids, you can probably hear in the background, have been home the whole summer, so I'm excited for them to go back to school and to be exhausted from school instead of being really here at home with me 24/7. In light of the new Star Wars show Ahsoka, if you haven't noticed, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, like huge. I was very fortunate to grow up with Star Wars at an early age, and then by the time the prequel trilogy came out, I was actually around the same age as Anakin and Padme, so that was really cool for me to see the new additions. Although I'm not a huge fan of the prequel trilogies, there are things I love about it. And I'm super stoked that there's all these new TV shows. Some are good, some are not so good, but I'm a huge fan of Star Wars Rebel, the animated show, so this is like my ideal show, and already I've watched the first 2 episodes and think it's just the best. I know a lot of people are kind of like lost and don't know what's happening, but for me it's like I'm right there. I know what's happening. I'm having a blast with it. I digress. So in light of my just Star Wars tangent, I thought it would be a lot of fun to do a September like Star Wars themed MBR. I mean, I'm sure that I'm probably not gonna read any of them because I never ever stick to my MBRs. So I have a couple series that I'm like kind of in the middle of, and some new series that I want to start. So let's start with the ones that I want to start. Daughter of the Empire by Raimi Needfice and Jenny Warts. This has been pitched to me as an Asian-inspired political sci-fi fantasy. I like all of those are like check, check, check. Sometimes political works for me, sometimes it doesn't. I have been meaning to read this book for a really long time. It's been on my list for, I don't know, years. But I don't know why, I just haven't gotten to it. Maybe because it was a little bit daunting to me and I was kind of a little afraid to pick it up. But I think the time is now. And also, I have to say, I did not know that Jenny Warts is a beautiful artist. She actually did the book art for this series, so that's why I picked up the paperback with the original book cover. So yeah, I'm excited to read this, and I'm really hoping to get to it, but we'll see. The next book that I may get to is The Heir of the Empire. This is a Star Wars Legends series, which means basically that it was written before Disney bought out Star Wars or Lucasfilms. So now it's a Legends film, so it's no longer canon. But this particular trilogy, this is actually the second copy I owned. I owned the original paperback copy, but I lost it somehow. Anyways, so I had to rebuy it. I have not read it yet, but this guy here, Thrawn, is going to be the new villain in the Ahsoka show, and this is like probably the basis work of this character. Plus we have the original trilogy cast. And I heard Timothy Zahn is like the Star Wars guy. Like he is the one that kind of like really inspired the new stuff. So I will be reading this via audiobook, and yeah, I'm excited. So the next book that I want to get to, I don't own a physical copy of. I'm going to be listening to this via audio on Scribd. It is Gideon the Ninth. I have heard about this book since it was published. It's pitched as like a queer space opera, and I'm all for that. I heard Gideon, the character, is hilarious, is really like the writing is really like riveting, and my fellow Canadian YouTuber Christie's Corner has recently read it and has obsessed about it. So she and I have a lot of similar tastes, so I think I will probably really like it. The next book I want to pick up also is an audiobook, is The Dark Disciple. And this is a Star Wars book. I like Legends that I spoke about before. Canon is actually like Disney like approved, so it is technically a part of the new Star Wars world. And honestly, I saw this cover when it came out and instantly wanted to read it, so I will see. I haven't actually read too many of the new Star Wars books, so I'm really intrigued to see how this goes. The next book that I want to start is a new series, is The Daughter of Redwater by Ed McDonald. I've had this book on my, this book has caught my eye since it first came out. I recently got it in a book haul, and honestly, it's a short book. It's like a beautiful book. I think it does have sci-fi elements, but I think it's more like dark fantasy. So it doesn't really fit in with the Star Wars stuff. But, you know, if I read too much sci-fi through the month, I'll probably get sick of it. So it'll be a nice break. But overall, yeah, I think this cover, I love it. Anyways, so yeah, this is going to be on here. The next one is also just not really a sci-fi, but it is a continuation of the series that I'm reading. This is Death's Beating Heart by Rob J. Hayes. I love this series, the War Turtle series. It's one of my new favorites. This is the last in the series, so I'm a little, scared, anxious, excited to read it. I still have to read, by the time I'm filming this video, I haven't read Sins of the Mothers, so I need to read that before I continue on with the series and finish it off. But I don't know if I'm ready to say goodbye to Eska, because I love her, even though she's a bitch, but I love her so much. I can't recommend this series enough. It is so good. So yeah, this is definitely going to be read. Another series that I'm continuing on with, I've had a little bit of a hard time with, and that is the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio. I have read the first 2 books, and I was lukewarm about them. My problem is I listened to the audiobook, and I was not the biggest fan of the audiobook narrator and how he narrated certain characters, but essentially, this book is everything that I want. It's super Star Wars inspired. They're like basically lightsabers. It's told from first-person narrative from Hadrian, who's our main POV, and he is telling his life story about why he basically became the villain and killed a bunch of people. The writing style is very reminiscent to Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderling series, so if you do enjoy that writing style, you may actually really enjoy this book. If you like sci-fi, yeah, I recommend it. But it's a big book, and I've been meaning to read this for years, so, wish me luck that I actually do read it. The other book that I keep putting on my TBR, I'm not even going to hold up because I'm not even going to take it down from my shelves, is Dark Age by Pierce Brown. I've had this book on my TBR for, a year, and I keep pushing it off because it's so dark, and I don't know if I can deal with that, but I need to continue on because I really, really want to know what happens. And it is very Star Wars-esque, especially the second series. So that may be on my TBR. The last book that I may read in September is Cibola's Bird by James S. Corey. This is the fourth book in The Expanse. I have watched the entire Expanse show. I love it. It's one of my favorite shows. Unfortunately, the books didn't really work well for me, but I really want how this book, I am curious to see how this book ends compared to the show, because I was not thrilled about the ending of the show. It wasn't a bad ending, it was just a meh ending. I want to see how this story progresses from the original work. So yeah, so this is going to be an audiobook listen. And yeah, I'm hoping that I like it and I can continue on because I actually own majority of the books. I still have about 3 or 4 more books to buy, or 3 books to buy, but yeah, I have most of them. So this will be on here. So that's the pile of books that I may be reading in September. Please tell me below what you guys are reading in September. If you've read any of these books that I've mentioned and you have any thoughts on them, please leave a comment below. And if you don't really have anything else to say but just want to comment, feel free, leave a spaceship emoji. Okay, like and subscribe if you want to, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.